If I'm president today, the first law that I will repeal is the oil law. I don't see why. I ask myself a question. When President Kufuor did not have oil, he was able to pay workers in this country. Rawlings paid workers in this country with that oil. Why is it that we are using oil money to pay Ghanaian workers and making them so lazy? Why? Oil that we could have used for development. Now we use it to pay salaries. Are we dumb? The first law, I'll go to Parliament, repeal that law. We are going to use our oil money for infrastructure. Case closed. If you cannot collect taxes to pay your workers, close it down. Because we make people so lazy, we make people so corrupt. My sister, internally generated funds all goes to the pocket of the workers. And you go and use our oil money that we could have used to build infrastructure in this country to pay them again. I will change it. I'm telling you. Many ideas will not be same I'm off.
Wow.
I got good ideas for the country.
Abusia Kennedy akompra ko Agyapong. Wa kire die nti e wasa Ghana delegate e MPP mu no Ghana nyina de oman no hyenesa. What the 5 great ideas be about abusia. Even Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia kura ti ye e kan ye share e kwan oso be fa so aye no no boni sensi ye wotwapu si. Abusia this video make sure so be share because and some akompra ko Kennedy Agyapong de to dwa. Na ebi kura way back bet or your consistency and I say na asem obeka bia no always bia no eno ana o timidi adwuma onye obi a osesen sana no dane ano dabi enti ne nsem no ya na gidie wo mu pa na ene kwan makoma 5 a odi ebe transforming Ghana ama man na be se ama hodo ayi tu kwan koso kobo bram abusua ebe jonsem even NDC mpanyifo bi wokai baako a odi tu dwese obema national service for no omo akomilitary mo akwetire ni ade won say John Dramani Mahama so efasa idea no say na kese pa no e wo behind the scene na busua ene odi abetudwa we NPP delegate there's a time ebeka say yema papa na kwan no mra because ideas say unity wenye brofo enye brofo she video no kwesi na kire waje conversation wo yenkonkoti akompra ko Kennedy Agyapong.
If I'm president today, the first law that I will repeal is the oil law. I don't see why. I ask myself a question. When President Kufuor did not have oil, he was able to pay workers in this country. Rawlings paid workers in this country with that oil. Why is it that we are using oil money to pay Ghanaian workers and making them so lazy? Why? Oil that we could have used for development. Now we use it to pay salaries. Are we dumb? The first law, I'll go to Parliament, repeal that law. We are going to use our oil money for infrastructure. Case closed. If you cannot collect taxes to pay your workers, close it down. Because we make people so lazy, we make people so corrupt. My sister, internally generated funds all goes to the pocket of the workers. And you go and use our oil money that we could have used to build infrastructure in this country to pay them again. I will change it. I'm telling you. Many ideas will not be same I'm off.
Wow.
I got good ideas for the country.
Kennedy always argued that most public institutions in Ghana here are unproductive. And that is one of the reasons the country's labor productivity rate is always below 2.1%, whilst developed countries are above 7%. He believed this is partly because the central government always borrows and uses the nation resources to pay workers, whom in his words says they just go to work, read newspaper, and go home. Their work output is supposed to pay them, not the other way around, whilst the country uses the revenue generated from our resources to pay them. According to him, the root of this problem is lack of patriotism. Citizens don't treat the country's progress as their personal responsibility. That is why in his second promise, he said he will use musicians to instill patriotism into Ghanaians in the first 100 days.
What will be the first thing you do as president if you're elected in 2025?
Changing the mindset. What I'll do is I'll bring all musicians together to let them come up with heroic songs, and we'll organize a concert like We Are the World. R&B, High Lives, reggae, gospel, they all come together and play all these songs. Then after that, we'll give it to the media and schools to play for Ghanaians to be patriotic, honest, and disciplined. I have sat down, carefully analyzed the situations and the challenges of this country. And I know that there are 3 key areas that If we use that, we can change the fortunes of this country. That is patriotism, honesty, and discipline. Patriotism, as simplified by saying the second commandment in the Bible that it says, love thy neighbor as yourself. If you are patriotic, you will not go and steal from government. If you are patriotic, you will not go and kill for money. If you are patriotic, when they ask you to come to work at 8, you'll be there at 8. Ghana here, 8 o'clock, Ghanaian time is 10 a.m. Under Agyapong, Ghanaian time, 8 a.m. is 7:45. You got to be there by 7:45 to start work at 8. We are not going to allow those 2 hours. That's productive man hours wasted. We are not going to tolerate that.
But Kennedy's frustration goes deeper than money. And here is the most important part. He believes Ghana's real weakness lies in the way our leaders approach problems. They are too theoretical, not practical. Unlike him, he says his strategy will be built on 3 key pillars. That is, industry, a pragmatic mindset, and technology. To prove it, he points to his own record. He uses his cassava factory that produces product worth of $90 million. And he believes our problem could be solved overnight if we use this pragmatic mindset to solve our issue.
The problem in this country has been that most policies are just theory. They are not practical. And as a businessman, I've realized that, look, most of our policies are not good for the country. We have to be practical. So I believe in pragmatic approach instead of theory. So I go there and give typical examples just close by them, but they don't know what they can do with it. I give them example. Do you know what we can use maize or corn for? We can use corn as cooking oil, and it's one of the most healthiest and expensive cooking oil in the world. We grow corn or maize everywhere, even in our backyard here, but they don't know what to do with it except of banku and,
Porridge.
Yeah, porridge and chewing, the toasted corn, the whatever. So I tell them, you can use corn for cornflakes, Cerelac. You can use corn for ethanol. And when you mix corn ethanol with our petrol, the cost of our petrol will go down by 20%. So why don't we take advantage of that? We can use corn for poultry feeds. But all these things, we are not doing and keep importing. Cassava. I have cassava plant. We've acquired about 125,000 acres. We've already planted or cultivated 30,000 feeding the plant. And what you can look, I always say, the youth of this country should listen to me, that cassava is more important than gold. So if we know the usage, we will not even degrade the lands because of gold. For one, we visited Thailand, a Greek ministry in Thailand. They line up the products that they use cassava for, from biscuit, tapioca, starch, ethanol, flour, a lot of things. So with my plant, do you know that the cassava we produce, the starch we produce, you use it for drugs. All pharmaceutical industries, every drug they produce, there is starch in it. So the demand all over the world is so high that if we have about 300 cassava plant companies in Ghana, we'll have demand all over the world. We can use the same cassava flour. We can use the cassava for ethanol. We can use the cassava for the tapioca, your banku you eat, agbelema, and all those things. When you put them together, we can use cassava for 40 different products.
But honorable, people would say we do not have the facilities, the industry, the processing factories to go through all these things.
That is what I'm saying.
Okay.
That agric mechanization and agro processing.
Okay.
Agro processing. That's why I use my starch plant as an example.
Okay.
So I have something to tell you guys. We just hit 1,000 subscribers. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. If you like this form of content, don't forget to subscribe and share these videos with your friend and family. Peace out.
And back in Agyapong, Ghanaian time, 8 a.m. is 7:45. The situation we are in now, we need somebody who be bold to tell you to your face that what we are doing is wrong.
The people who are in charge of our agriculture sector, and I'm referring to the civil servant, will be the same people in the Kennedy Agyapong government.
And Agyapong will fire you.
This is Kennedy Agyapong, one of the men hoping to lead Ghana in 2028. And even though the election is 3 years away, he's already making some bold promises. Kennedy claims he can do a lot in his first 100 days in the office. So in this video, we are going to break down 3 major promises he has made. Let's start with his first promise: repeal Ghana's oil revenue law. Kennedy Agyapong, the gatekeeper of entrepreneurship in Ghana, has built a quad-like following over the years. He's one of the few African businessmen who has turned bold talks into real results. What I find interesting about him is that he made his first $1 million way back in 1995, and by 2025 the number has grown to $685 million. But Kennedy says his success didn't come from politics or luck. It came from following a short list of rules that anyone can apply. So in this video, we are going to break down Kennedy's 5 rules of becoming a millionaire. Let's start with his first principle.
What it takes to succeed in life is hard work, honesty, savings, investment, and risk.
This, he says, are the 5 virtues that every aspiring successful person must have. But for Kennedy, 2 stands above the rest. Though every character is important, but the 2 stands out. That is honesty and hard work. Hard work embodied with discipline. He called them the cardinal principle of success and the foundation of every millionaire mindset.
The first cardinal principle for anybody to be successful is honesty. There are a lot of people. Let me give you one example. I have a Chinese woman. She has given credit to some Opera Square traders, plumbing equipment and all those things, lights. When she's going for the money, they give excuses. She supplied me goods worth $11 million and I've paid $9 million. So anytime I tell her, Wela, I need this, she has confidence in me that as for Ken, he will pay.
Yeah.
That's richness.
The financial trust is there and it comes from honesty.
Yeah, and that is richness. People who take her goods and do not pay cannot go back to her. As simple as that.
To Kennedy, being rich isn't just about having money in your bank account. It's about being trustworthy enough that people are willing to bet on you. He believes honesty builds credibility, and credibility opens doors to opportunities, the real currency of wealth. However, he always adds that trust isn't enough. You can be the most honest person in the world, but if you don't have the next character in you, you wouldn't be successful. That is hard work.
If you want to make money, you have to work hard. People work for 8 hours. They go out there, drink beer and all those things. You can work 16 hours. Because the income you make from 8 hours, let me tell you something. A professional who makes, say, $500 or $1,000 a week, a taxi driver like myself, okay, who doesn't have any degree or whatever, I can put in more hours. He works for 8 hours and make $1,000. I can work 16 hours and make $1,000. So you have to be hardworking.
Hard work is good, but according to him, working hard without doing the right thing with your money is like running in circles. He says, if you work hard and don't save to invest, then it will be good you don't work at all.
If you want to make good money or be rich in future, try and live subsistence living. Save the money for rainy day or for investment. You have to take risk and invest the money. And sometimes people are content with what they have. They are content with what they have. I say that such people are sometimes myopic thinkers.
Okay.
They are not dreamers. They have no foresight. Instead of challenging yourself, they just become content. They buy luxury cars here and there. If you see me buying luxury cars and you want to buy luxury car, do you know my worth? You don't keep up with the Joneses. Just manage the little you have, invest it. A time will come that when you are spending, you don't even feel it.
And he's not far from the truth. As Albert Einstein famously said, compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. but he who doesn't pays it. But for Kennedy, saving and investing is essential. But there's one more thing for every aspiring millionaire or even a billionaire must do to be extremely wealthy is to take risks.
And if you want to be a good leader or successful businessman, you should have a vision. You should be courageous because the future belongs to risk takers. You should always take a risk. Those security seekers can never be rich. You know, those who are security seekers. Let me give you an example. People make money. They don't take the risk to invest the money. They go and buy treasury bills. Their comfort zone, a bank is managing your money for you. Ask yourself, how much is the bank making for him to pay you that amount of money? So if you had invested the money yourself and run your business, you would have made twice as much as a. So if you are protecting your money, you are scared to take risk. You can't grow. So the risk takers, the future belongs to them. So you have to be courageous.
To him, wealth doesn't grow in a comfort zone. Every major breakthrough in business, he says, came from people who dare to bet on their visions. A famous YouTuber once said, Eric, take calculated risks. In other words, always have emergency fund, something to cushion you if things does not go the way as planned. That is how you stay bold and smart. After you have made the money, there's one thing that you need to do to secure your money, and that is having security.
When you make money, you should have secure investment. And the secure investment is properties. Properties will not make you rich because you wait for rent to come. You don't do the business with the money because it's stuck. But it's a security. Anytime the money that you are doing business with, you lose it, you have a fallback.
Honorable Kent ends with a warning, one that every businessman or woman should take note of. Provided you are in Africa, there's one mistake you must never make.
But make sure, if you want to succeed here, this side of the world, especially Ghana, don't rely on your relatives. Okay. Don't involve your brothers, sisters, family members in your business, except maybe your children or wife. Because this side of the world, your brother, when you set up your business and leave it in the hands of your brother to manage, he will then take the money and go and establish his own, and yours will collapse. And when you complain, your whole family will go against you. So please, don't get them involved.
Hang on, here's the most important thing. If you loved this video, then there are a couple of interviews that I pick clips from. I bet you it will change your life. So if you want those interviews, check down in the description below.